Hello, I really hope I'm in focus, and I'm really sorry if I come across ever so slightly passive-aggressive in this. This is the second time I've had to film this video. I've already filmed my June wrap-up, and here we are doing it again because my microphone wasn't connected properly, so there was this horrible crackle through the whole thing, so I'm really hoping it's connected. I have checked, but I hope that this one turns out okay. But hi, I couldn't be bothered to do my hair or my makeup or anything for this because it's the second time I've had to film it, so you just get me how I am. But it's time for my June wrap-up. I don't do monthly wrap-ups. I don't like doing wrap-ups, which is why it's so annoying to me that the video I don't like doing I have to do twice now. I was doing recent reads wrap-ups, but then I kind of didn't wrap up any of whatever comes before June's May. Didn't wrap up any of May's reads, so I just thought to clear out my book cart, I would get a June wrap-up done. Also, because it was the month of Whateverthon, I thought it would be nice to do a dedicated wrap-up for that. Obviously, with it being Whateverthon, I was the middle grade queen, one of the team leaders for middle grade monarchs, and we won, of course. Honestly didn't see it coming, but we did win. So I read a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 books in the month of June, so I did surpass my goal of 6 for Whateverthon and complete TBR Pursuit as well, so yay! Things that I didn't get to that I had wanted to was Blood Witch and Golden Fool, but they weren't on TBR Pursuit because I didn't manage to squeeze them in, so it's fine, and I've just rolled them into July. With that being said, let's just crack on with the actual wrap-up. These have all been featured in vlogs of some sort, I'm sure, or you've heard my opinion somewhere or another, which is why wrap-ups are always so difficult for me, because I feel like I'm just repeating myself, but I know some people don't like vlogs, so here we are. Anyway, first thing that I read in the month of June was The Bone Shard Daughter by Andrea Stewart. This was for Read, Rate, Review, and for TBR Pursuit this was an intimidating read, or something that I wasn't quite sure about. I was a little apprehensive going into this one. I had heard mixed things and really was not sure what I was going to think of it. However, I was incredibly pleasantly surprised with this, ended up reading it in 2 days, which I didn't see coming. It completely gripped me and ended up being a 4-star read. With it being the Read, Rate, Review pick, the live show for this one has happened. It was on Aaron's channel from Booked and Busy, so you can see all of our deeper thoughts there. But this one follows the Emperor's daughter. The Emperor does this like bone shard magic, which basically means he takes a shard of someone's bone, I think it's like from the back of the skull or something, and uses it to build constructs that are like these magical beings that he can then control. This magic is forbidden, however, as his daughter, she needs to learn to master this bone shard magic. There's lots of twists and turns in here. Lots of things I didn't see coming, a few things I did see coming. There's many perspectives. One of the other perspectives is our kind of anti-hero Jovis, who's a bit of a pirate, and he has the most adorable animal companion ever in Mephi. I would die for Mephi. I think we would all die for Mephi. Mephi deserves the world. And then there were some other characters. Was it Falu and Renami or something? I can't remember much about them, to be honest, but they weren't as central as Jovis and Lynn, who are definitely the most interesting characters to follow. And then we also have some perspectives from Sand. They're just more like break chapters that give us a little bit of a hint into other things that are to come. Definitely built up some intrigue. But yeah, this one really pleasantly surprised me, ended up being a 4-star read, and I am very excited for the sequel whenever that comes out. But yeah, would die for Mephi. The next book that I read in June was The Alloy of Law by Brandon Sanderson. I buddy read this one with Steph. This is the first book in Second Era Mistborn, so the first book in the second trilogy, but not a trilogy, and some people say that this is a, like, connecting book, but as far as I'm aware, this is just the first book in Second Era Mistborn. I don't know how many books Second Era Mistborn it's gonna be. It's the first book in the Second Era. Substantially smaller than the first 3 books. But yeah, this still takes place in this world where allomancy is a thing, and you can ingest metals to gain their power. You can ingest one and be an allomancer. You can ingest many and be a Mistborn. This follows Wax and Wayne, who are lawmakers of a sort. However, Wax is more wrapped up in like the nobles and the noble households and stuff than he perhaps wants to be. But of course there is an evil to fight, and they fight it. But yeah, I enjoyed this one. At the point of reading it, I was in kind of a bad like headspace anyway. Like, I wasn't feeling great when I read it, so I wasn't all that excited and into it at the time, but it still ended up being a 4-star read, and I know that that was entirely on me. It was still very good, and I am still very much excited to continue. But yeah, 4 stars. I enjoyed. Moving on. The next 6 of these I read for Read It Like Gavin, so if you've watched that vlog you will know most of my thoughts on these anyway, so I'll try and go through these pretty quickly. The first book that I read for the Read It Like Gavin vlog was Where the Mountain Meets the Moon by Grace Lynn. This one is about a young girl who sets off on an adventure to find the man of the moon to change her family's fortune and their fate, and she meets a flightless dragon and a talking fish and many families and learns many lessons along the way. Really beautiful story, thoroughly enjoyed it, such a quick read, and I will definitely be continuing this series. This is one of Gavin's absolute favourites, and ended up being a 4-star from me. I enjoyed it quite a lot. Then the next book I read for that was The Ship of Shadows by Maria Kuznia. This is a all-female pirate crew, and our young girl called Leisure is desperate to be an explorer, and the Ship of Shadows calls to her, and she goes off on this adventure to find out what the secrets of the ship are and why they need her specifically. Full of adventure. The ship is really atmospheric. There are secrets and shadows aboard this ship, and yeah, just lots of female-led adventure, which was really nice. I think I expected to love this one a little bit too much. Like, it didn't blow me away, but it was still a solid 4-star read. Very much enjoyed it, and will be reading the sequel, which is either already out or going to be out very soon. One of the two. But I'm excited for the sequel. I did like it a lot. Next up, for Read It Like Gavin, I read A Darkness of Dragons by S.A. Patrick, and I think this is my favourite of that video. It was still a 4-star read, but it was such a fun 4-star read. I was completely gripped from start to finish on this one. The pacing was perfect. It just had me hooked, and I had a great time the whole way through. This follows a young boy called Patch, who is a piper. But in this world, a piper in history did the unspeakable and played this forbidden song, and that song is now, like, the worst of laws to break. If a piper plays that song, like, that is a disgrace. And Patch finds himself in a situation where he plays that song, and then he is on the run. He is an outlaw. He befriends a rat who is actually a little girl cursed to be a rat, and a dracogryph as well, a talking dracogryph, which is a cross between a dragon and a griffin. And the 3 of them go on a journey to try and help all of their situations. So something is wrong with all of them. They all need to solve their problems. But it was just so much fun. I was entirely gripped with this and cannot wait to read the sequel, which is a vanishing? Yeah, a vanishing of griffins, which I got for my birthday. I'm really excited to read that one, because this one was just so much fun. But yeah, 4 stars for this as well. Next up, I read Strange Worlds Travel Agency by L.D. Lipinski. This is about a young girl called Flick who finds a travel agency that looks a little bit run down, and she goes in and discovers that she can see magic, and that the suitcases in this travel agency are not ordinary suitcases, but are portals to other worlds. There is something special about Flick though, and her ability to see magic enables her to know that the magic that connects these worlds is failing and the worlds are falling apart. So she needs to join the secret society, the Strange World Secret Society, to try and fix the magic that's holding these worlds together. This was really fun, but I think again this was a case of I expected to love this more than I ended up loving it. Like, I was expecting this to be 5-star, a new favourite, and it wasn't. But it was still a very solid 4-star. I will definitely be continuing the series. I think I just put too many expectations on loving this a little bit more than I did. But still full of magic, full of wonder, full of adventure, and I will definitely be continuing. Then, still for Read It Like Gavin, all of my in-depth thoughts on all of these are in that vlog. If you haven't watched it, you can see more there. But the next one I read was the 10 Riddles of Earth the Quicksmith by Loris Owen. Now this one kind of had me in the beginning. I did not like the writing style. As well as being broken into chapters like a normal novel, each of the chapters then had like subheadings within it. So it was like mini sections within the chapters, and something about the writing style just really didn't flow for me. So within the first 50 pages I was a little bit like, eeh, is this going to be a DNF? I really hope not. But then I got hooked and finished the whole thing really quickly, and it ended up being a 4-star read. This one is about a young boy called Kip who doesn't like school too much, but he's a really bright boy, and he draws these things, are they called like swirls or something? He draws these particular patterns, which ends up getting him scouted for the Quicksmith Academy or something? Quicksmith's College of Strange Energy. And this school focuses on strange energy, which is a really like futuristic science. Like it's supposed to be based in science and be entirely probable. It's all like based in fact and science and experiments and stuff. But it just seems like magic. But it's science. But it seems like magic because it's this really futuristic sort of science. And there is a threat at this college, and there are a series of riddles that can help them fight this threat. So we follow the journey of them solving these riddles, or trying to solve these riddles, at the college. It just really captivated me because of that riddle element. Like, it was really intriguing. So despite the writing style not being entirely for me, I just had to know. And yeah, sometimes the pacing felt a little bit off, like they would solve a series of riddles really quickly and then spend ages on one, but I mean, I suppose that's a little bit realistic, but sometimes the pacing felt a little bit weird and the writing style felt a little bit weird, but overall, the premise absolutely hooked me and it ended up being 4 stars. And then finally, for Read It Like Gavin, I read Rainbow Grey by Laura Ellen Anderson. This is the first Laura Ellen Anderson book that I've read, and I will definitely be reading more from her because this was just a hug in a book and was so sweet. This follows a young girl called Ray Grey who comes from the land of the Weatherlings, and all of these Weatherlings have weather magic, be that cloud, lightning, thunder, sun, rain, snow. But Ray Grey doesn't have any of this magic until she learns about rainbow weatherlings that vanished all these years ago, and as you can tell from the title and the cover, Ray Grey discovers she is a rainbow weatherling. And of course there is a big threat and they have to fight these storms, and it was just really fun. And she has a cloud cat that's just adorable. The illustrations throughout are just stunning. Look at her on her cloud cat. It was such a fast read, but I think a lot of that is to do with, you know, how much it's broken down with the illustrations in there as well. But it really just hooked me, and I gobbled it up really quickly and ended up really enjoying this, and this ended up being a 4-star read as well. As I say though, thoughts on all of those are much more in depth in my Read It Like Gavin vlog if you have not seen that one. And then finally, I wrapped up the month with the middle grade monthly book for June, which was Me, My Dad and the End of the Rainbow, and my opinions on this should definitely be taken with a little bit of salt because I don't like contemporary. That's not a new thing, I just really don't like contemporary books. However, I was willing to give one a chance for middle grade monthly because we hadn't done a contemporary before, and I thought, if there's going to be any, it's going to be this one. Like, it's so beloved, Gavin loves it, and I am glad that I read it. I didn't hate it. It just ended up being a 3-star for me, which is fine, considering I don't read contemporary. I just find myself with contemporaries being a bit bored. The plot doesn't do much for me, my intrigue isn't entirely up there, and if you watched the Middle Grade Monthly live show for this, which was on Gavin's channel, I kind of described it as me looking into someone's life and I'm like, but it's none of my business. And I know it's a story, so it is supposed to be my business, but that's just how I feel about contemporaries. But yeah, this is about a young boy called Archie whose dad is gay, and he discovers that his dad is gay and he finds a flyer for Pride, and he thinks that going to Pride could answer a lot of the questions that he has. So it's Archie's journey of going to Pride, finding out what Pride is, and rebuilding this relationship with his father. It was a cute story. I really like the audiobook for this one, just contemporaries are not my cup of tea. And there we have it. That is it. I'm not going to spend too long wrapping this up because, as I've said, this is the second time I filmed this video. But for my June, I read these 9 books, which I'm pretty happy with. So, yeah. As I say, if you want more thoughts on a lot of them, then they're in vlogs and stuff, or there's live shows for them, or whatever. But I'm going to put these all away for the second time now, import this footage, and hope that the audio is actually intact this time. So thank you for watching. Sorry if I've been a little bit rushed, but technical difficulties. But yeah, thanks for watching. If you want to let me know what you thought of any of these books, if you've read any of them down below, feel free to do that. Let's chat about them. But yeah, I will see you in the next one. Bye!